Macmillan English, Language Book 5, Unit 10, page 84, The Shipwreck. Chapter 1, The Storm. Thunder roared. Lightning lit up the sky. The wind howled. Enormous waves lifted the ship and threw it down onto the rocks near the mysterious island. There was an awful, crashing, scraping noise. The rocks tore a huge hole in the side of the ship. Water poured into the hole. The ship slowly began to sink. On board there was panic. "Water is coming in!" yelled the cook. The news soon reached the captain. The captain shouted, "Abandon ship!" He said that the ship was sinking. People shouted and screamed. They rushed here and there. "Get out of my way!" a sailor screamed. "I want to get off this ship!" He pushed Jim in the back and knocked him over. He tried to lower a rowing boat into the sea to escape, but there was no time. A huge wave washed him into the water. "Help!" he cried as he disappeared over the side of the ship. Jim stood up and held on tightly to the side of the ship. People were jumping into the sea to escape. "Jump! Swim for your life!" shouted the captain. Jim took a deep breath and dived into the angry sea. Jim was an explorer. He left home to look for adventure, but this was more adventure than he wanted. Jim saw the island in the distance. The waves splashed over him and dragged him down. He went under the water. He coughed and spluttered and gasped for breath, but he kept swimming. Every minute he got more cold and more tired. He was terrified. "I can't do it. I'm too cold. I'm too tired," he thought. Just when he thought he could swim no further, he reached the beach. Jim stood up and staggered up the beach away from the sea. He dropped onto the sand. The wind howled all round him, but he did not hear it. He was shivering with cold, but he was so exhausted, he went straight to sleep. Chapter 2, The Only Survivor. When he woke, the wind was quiet and the sea was calm again. The sun was shining in a clear blue sky. Jim looked around. All along the beach, he could see broken wood from the ship. A few meters away, he saw a wooden chest floating on the water. Jim grabbed it and pulled it onto the beach. When he opened it, he found that it contained a hammer, an axe, some nails, a saw and some rope. Jim looked out to sea. There was no sign of the ship, and no sign of any other survivors. Jim was all alone, on an unknown island. Luckily, Jim found a stream, where he could get fresh water. He bent down and drank thirstily. Nearby, there were plenty of coconut and banana trees. He ate some bananas and broke open a hairy coconut with the hammer. He drank the sweet juice and ate the fresh white coconut. Then Jim sat down on a rock to think. He did not know if another ship would come past and rescue him. He did not know how long he would be on the island. Chapter 3, Jim Builds a Shelter. The first thing Jim decided to do was to build a shelter. He needed to shelter from the sun and the rain. He didn't know if there were any wild animals on the island, so he needed somewhere safe to sleep at night. Jim gathered wood from the beach. He tied the wood together with rope and made the walls of a simple hut. He made the roof with tree branches and banana leaves. Jim gathered little branches and more banana leaves for a bed. He built a fence around the outside of his hut to keep out any wild animals. Now he had a shelter and somewhere safe to sleep. Jim walked along the beach to look for other useful things. He found some of the ship's sail, a telescope, a knife, and a leather map case. When he opened the case, he looked in amazement. Inside was a map of the island. Now I can explore the island, Jim thought. Unit 10. Spelling. Page 89.
Each of these words has got 2 syllables. The first syllable of each word contains a long vowel, a vowel which says its name. Shy, ning, shining. Bro, kun, broken. The sun is shining. The wood is broken.
Unit 10. Reading for Enrichment. Page 91.
The dolphin. On a beach in the morning, the sea green and blue, a young child was resting, the same age as you. From a spot near a towel, a whispering came, like a rustle of leaves, or a voice in a dream. Where the ripples were circling, a dolphin appeared and said, "Come down with me," and then disappeared. The child entered softly and reached the sea floor and saw not a sign of the golden seashore. There were mollusks in seashells, anemones too, and more fish than the child had observed in the zoo. On the back of the dolphin, the child wished and watched how the fish gather round as the fish eggs are hatched. Faster and faster the dolphin progressed, and they passed near to China as they streaked from the west. And there were goldfish as large as your knee, and 25 pandas asleep by the sea. In India, fish had the most wonderful marks, but they missed out Australia because of the sharks. At the end of the journey, they were back near the beach, when they talked of their trip with Bubbles for speech. Then the child swam back strongly to the spot on the sand and covered up eyes with the back of a hand. In an hour, the child woke up, in bed, it would seem. Do you think that it happened, or was it a dream?